Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Dani Olmo to Barcelona. Here we go. It is official. Fabrizio Romano confirmed the transfer earlier today. Barcelona will pay Leipzig a flat fee of 47 million. And then there's bonuses and also clauses in the contract that if Dani Olmo plays a certain amount of games and if he wins a certain amount of trophies, it can go up to 60 million. So call it between 50 and 60 million for Dani Olmo is what Barca are going to pay Leipzig, which obviously for Barca is a lot of money. And me personally, man, look, the signing is done. Dani Olmo is a Barca player. It's completed. We can't do anything about it now. I'm not happy about this. I'm personally not happy about this. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic in this video because, again, I'm actually kind of happy that Joan Laporta and Deco finally got their head out of their ass and decided to sign a player. It's only early August already. I mean, it only took you a month and a half to sign a fucking player, but finally we got someone signed to the team. But again, for me, man, this is gonna be more of like a therapy session than a transfer breakdown, because if you've watched my content at all, whether it's here on TikTok or on YouTube over the past couple months, when this whole Dani Olmo transfer saga began, you know that I'm not a big fan of this transfer. And again, it's not about Dani Olmo. My anger is not, maybe it's misdirected anger, because I'm not angry with Dani Olmo. I think Dani Olmo is a very, very good player. A really, really good player. And we saw it at the Euros, man. This guy came up so big for Spain, a team that ended up winning the Euros, and he scored so many important goals for them. And he's a really good player. When he's healthy, which is a big thing for Dani Olmo, when he's healthy, he's very, very productive. And when he's playing his preferred position, which is centrally. So again, Dani Olmo my anger is not because Dani Olmo is a shitty player. Do I think we overspent? Yes, I think that's a lot of money because Barca are fucking broke. Let's remember that. We're not PSG, we're not Man City, we're not Real Madrid. Barca don't just have money to spend like that. So to go out and spend 50 to 60 million on a player like that, to me, is an overpay. But again, my anger is not towards Dani Olmo, the player, because I believe he's a really, really good player, like I've already stated. My anger is with this board and how incompetent they are. Again, it took us this long to make a transfer, but the first player you sign is the wrong player. It's just the wrong player, quite frankly, in my opinion. You needed a winger and you still need a DM. And we've done nothing in that department to improve. Nothing at all. And we spent this whole time focusing on Dani Olmo, which now probably means that Nico is not coming, because obviously we've heard for weeks now that Barca's priority is Nico Williams, and then after they know about Nico, they're going to move forward with Dani Olmo. So now that they've moved forward with Dani Olmo, it probably means that Barca know that Nico Williams isn't coming, which to me, again, it's not Barca's fault because they tried. But again, I think once you have it was this close. We were this close to getting Nico Williams. I understand that if Nico had pressure from his family and his brother to stay at Bilbao for one more year, I get that. Obviously, it's his life, it's his choices that he wants to make. But again, you could have signed a winger, you could have pivoted from Nico Williams and signed another winger, another profile that you like. And even if you don't sign a winger, because again, sorry, I had to burp. Even if you don't sign a winger, you can go out and sign a DM or someone like, or another midfielder, because you still need that. So to me, again, my anger is not towards Dani Olmo, it's towards Barcelona, it's towards Deco, and it's towards Joan Laporta for putting this as a priority for us when it's really not, man. It's just not a priority. Dani Olmo, like I said, is a very, very good player, but he deals with a lot of issues that our players already deal with, which is they're injury prone, bro. People are like, oh, when Dani Olmo, like when Pedri and Gavi get injured, he can play. Bro, Dani Olmo gets injured more than them. Dani Olmo is constantly hurt. I beg you guys, I urge you guys to go on transfer market and look at this dude's injury history. It's like he misses double-digit games basically every single year. It's a trend for him, bro. So again, what is the guarantee? Like, you're spending this much money on a player who's injury prone. Who knows if Dani Olmo even plays, hopefully he can play a lot of games next year, but who knows? Like, I'm just, like, this is not me trying to, invoke this on him, but I'm just saying, like, his history would tell you that he's not going to play over 35 games for Barcelona. And that's spending that much money on a player like that, because again, you don't need him. You already have good enough interiors. This guy's gonna be taking away playing time from Fermin Lopez, and I think Fermin is a guy who we've seen at the Olympics has been amazing, bro. I mean, Fermin Lopez has so much fucking potential. So many Barca youngsters from La Masia get talked about, like Cubarsí and Lamine and Gavi. No one ever talks about Fermin Lopez, and I think he's one of the best players to come out of La Masia in a really, really long time. We're literally seeing it at the Olympics right now. The dude's a fucking stud. And for you to go out and spend money on Dani Olmo when, again, you had that money to spend on something else. We already know that Barca had that money to spend. So you had that money, you could have spent it. You could have spent it on something else. You could have spent it on a Mikel Merino who's on his way to Arsenal. And again, do I think Mikel Merino is a perfect signing? No. But you could have spent it on him. You could have spent it on Amadou Onana. Right? Are we all in agreement with that? You could have spent it on different players. On different players that actually fit positions of need. You don't need Dani Olmo. And that's my biggest frustration. That's my biggest concern with the sport, because it seems like Barca's priorities are all over the place. And I saw a report that came out today that apparently Dani Olmo was Flick's #1 target. That's great. I'm happy that Barca are backing the manager. That's something that makes me happy. That like Hansi Flick wanted Dani Olmo, and they went out and got Dani Olmo. They did everything possible. Deco and Joan Laporta did everything possible to secure that signing. And you know what? It's done. He's coming to the Camp Nou or Montjuic, wherever the fuck, this up and coming season. That's great that you're backing the manager. But again, at some point, you got to look at Hansi Flick and say, look, Hansi, we know you want Dani Olmo, but we need to strengthen the squad some more before we can think about Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo is a luxury signing. He's like, there's icing on cake, there's sprinkles on the cake. Dani Olmo's not even the icing or the sprinkles. He's like the cherry on top. It's like something you look at, oh, this is nice, but then you kind of just put it to the side because no one's gonna eat that fucking cherry. You know what I mean? Like you need, like we're still missing the foundation of the cake. We don't have a fucking cake yet. We don't have what is it called? Like in Spanish it's called ponqué. I don't know how. Like it's cake. It's just we're missing the cake. Okay, fuck the frosting. We don't even have a cake yet, and the cake is the DM. Because that problem has still not gone away. And with the leaving of Oriol Romeu, now you're even more compromised in that position. Because we can't rely on Casado and Bernal every single fucking game. Because that's not a valuable option. Because you're putting too many minutes and too much pressure on these kids. Too young. I love La Masia. I trust La Masia with my whole heart. If you guys have been watching this channel for a long time, you know how much I believe in the academy. And how much I thank the academy for helping Barca be where they are today. Which is still a relevant club. Despite the fact that they're in financial ruin. So I 100% love La Masia. I think I believe with every fiber of my being, it's the greatest academy in the history of football, and I think their track record backs that up. But again, we see these times, we saw with Ansu Fati, you bring a kid in from La Masia, he's so young, you put so many minutes on him, and then his career just goes off the rails. Pedri, not from La Masia obviously, but has been dealing with injuries because Barca overplay them, because again, we put too much trust and we put too much pressure, on these youngsters to deliver, and then it ends up biting us in the ass because we can't help them fulfill, we can't help them have a long career. A long and healthy career at that. And I hope it doesn't happen with Lamine. I hope it doesn't happen with Fermin. I hope it doesn't happen with Pau Cubarsí. But again, for me, just saying, oh, we don't need a DM because we have Bernal and Casado. Yes, that's great. In case of emergency, you have Bernal and Casado. But you still need to sign someone else, a veteran in that position. And look, bro, Dani Olmo's a Barca player. I will back him now, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to shit talk. I'm not going to sit here and be like, every time Dani Olmo scores a goal, I'm not going to celebrate. I'm going to sit here with my arms crossed. Obviously, I'm not, like, it's hard for me, bro. I don't know what it's hard for me. That's fucking, no, actually, that's not gross. You're trying too hard there. You know, I was going to make a joke about how that's kind of perverted, but it's not because it's hard for me. It's not like it's hard on me. That would sound a lot grosser. But anyway, look, it's difficult for me. That's a lot better. It's difficult for me to sit here and, I don't want to be too critical of Dani because, again, he is a Barca player. But this whole mentality now about how, oh, he's a Barca player, I will back him no matter what. Yes, I'll back him on the pitch, but that does not mean I'm happy with the signing. It does not mean that even if Dani Olmo goes out and has a great year next year, maybe he shuts me the fuck up. Maybe Dani Olmo, but again, he's not going to shut me up because I believe it. I've never doubted Dani Olmo the player. I've never doubted Dani Olmo the player. If you guys have watched my channel, you know I've never doubted him as a player. I've never said a bad word about him as a player. All I've said is that he has to play centrally because he's not very reliable out on the wing. That's all I've said. But again, for me, it's just like, even if Dani Olmo wins us the UCL next year by himself, which is not going to happen, obviously, but even if that happens, I will still look at the sport and be like, you know what, you got away with that one, but the overall process, the overall, like, the thinking behind the signing is just, it's stupid to me. It's just stupid to me because, again, you have other positions you needed to fill. And it's a position that gave us a lot of trouble last year, which was a DM. Again, the winger, I wanted Nico, okay? I still have hope somehow that he's going to come to Barca, even though it's not going to fucking happen. But I wanted Nico, you know what I mean? Like, I think most Barca fans, we wanted Nico Williams, especially after seeing him in the Euros, because, we thought Spanish, has played in La Liga. We've watched him, we've watched La Liga for a long time. I've been watching La Liga, obviously, my whole life. I knew about Nico Williams before the Euros, but a lot of people didn't know about him. But then when they saw him at the Euros, they were like, oh, this kid's pretty fucking good. He's friends with Lamine Yamal. He has a relationship with some of the Barca players on that team. Maybe he comes to Barca because Barca are in need of a left winger. And then obviously it doesn't happen. But again, you can pivot and find somebody else. But most importantly for me coming into this transfer window, apart from the winger, because again, I trust Rafinha, because I think Rafinha can do a good job as well. Like, I'm not discarding Rafinha because I do believe he's a really, really good player. But to me, apart from the winger, the most important thing was the DM, which again caused us so many problems last year. And do I think Romeu was going to be a staple of this fucking team? No, but now he's gone. That's one less option you have to come and do a job for you. So again, for me, I don't know, man. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm fed up with the incompetence with this club. I'm fed up with it's like, bro, we have a club that structurally is failing. Like it's just not, it's not a club that you look at it and you believe, how can you believe in this project when it's all over the place, man? How can I as a fan look at this project and actually believe that this club is one day going to get back to winning the UCL when you're putting all your priority on Dani Olmo, who again, great player, really, really good. I'm happy, okay? I'm not happy, but I'm excited. I am excited to see him play for Barca next year. Is he even going to be a starter for us? I don't even know. That's another question. Is he going to start for us? Like when I look at my Barca lineup, everybody healthy. I think Pedri should play the 10. I think Pedri, like, again, is Pedri like an ideal? Dani Olmo's a 10. You know what I mean? Like, is Pedri a 10? He's not, he's more of an 8. Obviously, Pedri's an 8, but he can play as a 10. And I would love to see him play as a 10 with that flick system. But again, for me, he doesn't make my starting 11. He doesn't make my starting 11 unless you want to play him on the left, which I don't know why you would, because that's stupid. He's not a left winger. You know, he can play there, but he's really not that type of player. So for me, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Barca already have a lot of creative players on that team. Guys like Gundo, guys like Fermin, who's a creative player. Guys like Pedri, who are obviously very creative. And I think adding another player to that midfield that's already so stacked. That's one position that, like, it's weird to me. This Barca board looked at this team. They looked at the one position that was pretty good. And they were like, okay, let's sign someone there. What's the logic with that? You know what I mean? I would love to be a fly in the wall in those meetings that Deco and Joan Laporta have when they're discussing transfers and players to bring in, and they talk to the scouts or whatever, whoever is offering these players up. And I want to hear what they talk about, what the reasoning is. I want to hear what Hansi Flick's reasoning is as to why Dani Olmo was his #1 target. You know what I mean? Why is that? Is he going to be his Thomas Muller? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. I can tell you this, Dani Olmo's not the player that Thomas Muller is. He's just not. Simply just isn't, okay? But again, I don't know, man. I'm excited for the season. I'm always excited for the start of a Barca season because I love this team with my whole heart, and I watch every game. I don't miss games, and I'm not saying that to like show how big my dick is, how much of a Barca fan I am. I'm just saying that to kind of put in perspective that no matter who they sign, I'm gonna watch, bro. Sorry, my mic just fell. No matter who Barca sign, I'm gonna watch. You know what I mean? But let me just figure this shit out. How do we do this? Whatever, let's just hold it now. No matter who Barca sign, I will watch, you know what I mean? But it's still kind of upsetting to me, the fact that I believe that this club is just not, like, the priorities are just not in check. And I think that, I said this on TikTok, but I think the appointment of, the firing of Matteo Alemany and Jordi Cruyff and the appointment of Deco has been one of the worst things that happened to this club. Because ever since Deco got appointed, it seems that we continue to do the wrong things when it comes to player scouting and all that stuff. So, again, I don't know. Dani Olmo, again, his physical will be Thursday. He'll probably be presented as a Barca player sometime next week, maybe later this week. So we'll obviously look forward to that, I guess. It's disappointing to me as a fan. But again, that's just what I think. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. Am I being too harsh? You know, do you guys think that Dani Olmo is going to come good for Barca? I believe he's going to play really, really well. I don't believe Dani Olmo is going to have a bad season. If he can stay healthy, which is the big thing for Dani Olmo, but if he can stay healthy, I believe he's going to have a good year. Because I think that, you know, Hansi Flick obviously has a plan for him, and I think that, you know, he's going to be surrounded by very good teammates, better teammates that he had at Leipzig. But for me, I don't know, man. I've been adamant, I've been consistent on this, by the way. This is not me just like flipping now because everybody doesn't want Dani Olmo. When I made my Barca summer transfer targets video, my tier list, like 3 months back, I had Dani Olmo in that video, and I put Dani Olmo not a priority for me. And for the same reasons I'm outlining right now, he's just not a priority because he's always he's always injured, and it's too much money for a guy who already. But again, it's done. There's no need to. It's spilled milk at this point. There's nothing's gonna happen that's gonna change what went down. You know, Deco already, like, it's already done. So we'll wait to see what happens. And yeah, I wish him the best time at Barca, man. Because again, I'm gonna be rooting for him every single game, and if he scores, I'm gonna be happy. And yeah, Dani Olmo is one of us now. So. That's it. I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace out.